You would not want to develop a product for the European market and discover at the very end that you are not compliant, right? So here is a practical condensed summary of the 431 pages document. Please don't print it. And at the end, after the theory, practice. I will share a quick roadmap to actually use this regulation while you are developing your project. Why this regulation is important? Regulation number EC 1223/2009 is crucial because it ensures product safety across the EU market. It harmonizes regulations across the EU member states. It provides clear guidelines regarding the ingredients used, the claims, and the labeling. And you should not forget that it is regularly updated to reflect the latest scientific knowledge, and that ignorance of these updates is not an excuse for non-compliance. If you want to make things right, you should know what this regulation is all about. So pay close attention and don't be frightened just because it's 11 chapters and 6 annexes. It's gonna be fine. So the chapter 1 and 2 is about scope and definitions. They define what is a cosmetic product, they outline the role of the manufacturers, the distributors, the suppliers, and they give you the definition of some key terms and who is responsible for compliance. Chapter 3 is about safety assessments. Now it's getting interesting. You wouldn't want your product to scar your consumers for life, right? Well, this chapter explains that safety assessment is mandatory for each product that is about to be launched on the market. And don't forget to put all the safety analysis in your product information file. And finally, in this chapter, you will find the assessments for your product to be qualified as safe. Chapter 4 is really important, as all the others, but this one lists the prerogative regarding the prohibited and restricted ingredients for cosmetic product development. So if you are at the step where you are selecting the ingredients for your product, you may want to check this chapter. It outlines specific rules regarding the colorants, the preservatives, and the UV filters. If you want to use nanomaterials in your cosmetic products, it's not prohibited, but there are specific limitations regarding their use, and they are all detailed in this chapter. Chapter 5 is about animal testing. You may already know that for the European market, it is strictly prohibited to test ingredients and also finished product on animals. This chapter also bans the marketing of cosmetic product that has been tested on animals. There are some small exceptions, so if you want to know more, you can check them in this chapter. If you want to gain the trust from your future consumers, you need to be transparent, especially with a product that they will apply on their body. The next chapter is about consumer information. This part specifies labeling requirements and all the information that you need to put on the labels, like the registered name and address of the responsible person, the different dates, and the claims that support your product. And then chapters 7 to 11 is about market compliance. I will not go there. If you want to check them, good luck. Pay special attention to what is coming next because it can directly impact your formulation strategy. Let's talk about the annexes. So the annex 2 to 6 are crucial annexes for the development of your cosmetic product. They list prohibited substances, restricted substances, colorants that are approved or not, and so on. Remember that these lists are regularly updated and that ignorance of these updates is not an excuse for non-compliance. So the first annex is about cosmetic product safety reports. It's not the first time that I talk about this PIF. Save them for your future product information file. Prepare your product information file or PIF. So this chapter explains the content of this PIF. It should include information such as the product composition, physical and chemical characteristics, exposure scenarios, and more. I will make a video just about the PIF in more details. Let's move on to the Annex 2 and 3. In the Annexes 2 and 3, you will find a list of ingredients in a giant table of 100 for the first one and 200 pages for the Annex 3. You may notice different type of identification for all these ingredients. What they call the chemical name or INN, standing for International Non-Proprietary Name. It helps identifying pharmaceutical substances or pharmaceutical active ingredients, and it provides a standardized name that is used worldwide across different countries and across different languages. The CAS number refers to the Chemical Abstract Service Registry number and is assigned to every chemical substances that is described in the open scientific literature. It is particularly useful when you have even different complex names for chemicals based on where they are used. So this CAS number is the same across all the industry, across all the countries. And finally, the EC number for European Committee number that is assigned to every substances for regulatory purposes within the European Union. Okay, so that's for the different identifications of the ingredients, but what can we find in this Annex 2 and 3? Really important. In the Annex 2, you will find a list of substances that are strictly prohibited. They are considered unsafe based on scientific evidence. This list is regularly updated as new scientific knowledge becomes available. The Annex 3 lists substances which cosmetic product must not contain except subject to restrictions. So what does it mean? So this annex lists substances that are restricted in cosmetic products with specification about the allowed concentrations and condition of use. This specification can be, for example, about the maximum concentration that can be included in your product, or the product types, or even the body part where your product that contains the substance can be applied. And of course, since there is specific condition to use this substance, there are strict labeling requirements that you should follow. So to sum up, the ingredients for the Annex 2 are strictly prohibited, no question asked, but from the Annex 3, you may use it with caution and according to specific rules. Okay, now let's talk about some ingredients that you can use safely in your cosmetic products. In the Annex 4 is listed ingredients, colorants, that you can use in your cosmetic product. These colorants have a code, the CI identification for colorant index. You are allowed to use them in your cosmetic product, but there can be some specification regarding their use. The next annex is crucial to make sure that your product do not turn into a microbial nest. It's the Annex 5 regarding the preservatives allowed in cosmetic products. This annex specifies the maximum concentration of preservative that you can use in your product and some specific conditions for their use. And finally, the last annex is very crucial if the product that you're about to develop is a sunscreen or has a claim for sun protection. So this Annex 6 lists the UV filters that are allowed to be used in cosmetics. There is also some information regarding the maximum concentration of use and specific conditions. Finally, we are done with the theory. Now I will share some practical applications for these 431 pages. So you can start with this regulation as a foundation. It is of course important to understand this regulation, and if you have any question or doubt, please reach out to a regulatory expert. To avoid forgetting any aspects, you can create a checklist based on the regulation requirements. Then you can use this regulation to pick the right ingredients. Check that the restricted substances from the Annex 3 are used within the specific limitations mentioned. Same, verify that if you use any UV filters or colorants, they are used the right way, that you do not exceed the maximum concentration allowed. And if you want to use a novel ingredient in your cosmetic product, please conduct a thorough safety assessment as per the Chapter 3. Make sure that your labeling aligns with the regulation requirements. Include all the mandatory information such as the address and name of the responsible person, the country of origin of your imported product, nominal content, date of limitation of use, date of minimal durability, precaution, batch number, product function, and list of ingredients. Ensure that the ingredients that you will list follows the INCI for International Nomenclature for Cosmetic Ingredients. Finally, verify that the claims supported by your products align with the EU regulation for cosmetic claims. Last point of this roadmap, don't forget to keep all documentation and track of all your compliance efforts. Include a detailed description of the cosmetic product and its production method, and maintain a record of any undesirable effects that your product may have. So it wasn't that bad. Now you are aware of all the requirements to be compliant to launch a product in the UE market. Remember that compliance, it's not about ticking all the boxes. No. It's about creating a product that your consumers can trust. Now it's time for you to think about your product concept, to have your vision board, and to start your product development journey. If you want more information about how to start, you can watch this video.